Alright, peace, and yeah, so this is going to be the rest of your reading, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited to do this for you. I actually already did this in the morning, in the rising, you know what I'm saying? It was the first thing I did, and then somehow, some way, I accidentally deleted it, and so I just bit the bullet and got up and was like, you know what? The cool thing about redoing it for you is because I already did this, I'm gonna be able to do it even better, you know what I'm saying? So I'm actually excited to do this again for you. Okay, so let's get into it. So in the last readings, we kind of covered and discussed like your moon, you know what I'm saying? Primarily that was the key focus. And in these sessions, we're going to be talking about your Mars and the aspects that are being made to your moon, you know what I'm saying? So we're still going to talk more and more about your moon, because this is a very important placement, you know what I'm saying? And the moon is maternal mother energies, right? And this is why in your life, being a mother is something that is of significance and of importance. And I would assume with you having such influential maternal energies, or moon energies, that the women in your life are also of significance and importance as well. Right, for sure. I'm about to pull up the notes, you know what I'm saying, so I can get ready and I can dive into this for you. Okay, so you know, we kind of spoke a good amount about what the moon is, so by now you should definitely have a great understanding of what the moon represents and signifies in astrology. It's essentially the maternal energy, you know, how it is that you nurture and receive nurturing energies, how it is that how it is that like you take care of your inner child, you know what I'm saying, how it is that you as a child were also taken care of. Now, we also discussed that like with you having your moon in Aquarius in the 7th house, it is an indication. Okay, actually, rather than trying to pull from the reading I did earlier, I'm just going to cleanse all of that, and this is going to be a new reading, you know what I'm saying? Alright, for sure. So, in this session, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be talking primarily about the aspects that are being received by your moon. So first and foremost, we are going to be discussing the Mars and Taurus aspect to your moon, because your Mars is aspecting your moon and it's squaring your moon, you know what I'm saying? So with Mars and Taurus in the 10th house, first and foremost, it's important for me to discuss Mars' dignity, you know what I'm saying, in this sign. Mars does not like being in Taurus, you know what I'm saying? When Mars goes into Taurus, it is debilitated. And let me explain why that is. So, and what that means for you also, right? So, Mars is the planet of execution. It's the planet of action, energy, you know, zeal. It rules Aries, but simultaneously it also rules Scorpio. Scorpio is very much an active sign, a sign of action, but it just deals with action of the unseen kind, you know what I'm saying? Scorpio is like those internal emotional forces, you know what I'm saying, that like make things move, but more so from an indirect way. Like a lot of the times Scorpio energies are into fixating themselves on some sort of project, you know what I'm saying, and then going hard and doing it until they fulfill that desire, you know what I'm saying? So that's why Mars likes to be in Scorpio, but it doesn't like to be in Taurus. And I explained the Scorpio energy and then into contrast the Taurus energy, because both Scorpio and Taurus are fixed sign. But the thing about Taurus is fixed earth. Like fixed emotion is an active force, you know what I'm saying? But fixed earth is like a stagnated force, in the sense that Taurus is all about possession, you know, what I have, you know what I'm saying? Whereas Scorpio is what I desire. Like desire is wanting. Having is content or comfort, you know what I'm saying? Being comfortable with the things that you have. So a lot of the times, you know, when Mars goes into Taurus, it becomes very rigid and very stagnated, you know what I'm saying? And with you having Mars in the 10th house, this is an indication that you are most definitely someone with great ambitions, large ambitions, you know what I'm saying? You have an aspiration to want to do things in this life. But Mars and Taurus may hold you back and may make you feel like before you can truly do something, you have to have this or have that, you know what I'm saying? And the problem with that is your Mars energy is supposed to be the energy in which you're supposed to utilize to get and fulfill your desires. But when Mars is in Taurus, it kind of camps, you know, it camps. I'll leave it at that. And it's like, I can't really do this or I can't really do that because I need this and I need that in order for me to do this and that, you know what I'm saying? So Mars and Taurus energy, another thing about it is, it's not as bad as when Mars goes into Libra, because when Mars goes into Libra, the issue here is people not doing things for themselves, but doing things for others, you know what I'm saying? And instead of tapping into that Martian energy through the Aries energy of exalting oneself and exalting one's ambitions and kind of being like, I'm gonna get it no matter what, and to an extent even disregarding one's safety as they go out to get it. When Mars goes into Taurus, when it's in Libra, it's more careful, you know, which is the same, it's a similar energy with Mars and Taurus. And it's more concerned with external validation. Like, so before Mars in Libra will do something, it'll be like, is this what you guys want me to do? Like, will this please you? You know, it's a very people-pleasing energy. It's like, I'll bend backwards for you if you and like, this is how they get their Martian energy of fulfillment, you know what I'm saying? Because Mars is an energy of accomplishment and satisfaction, but it's satisfaction through accomplishment of overcoming obstacles. Now, the thing about Taurus is it's ruled by Venus, you know what I'm saying? And the thing with the energy of Venus is Venus is the planet of peace, harmony, you know, it's Aphrodite, the goddess of love, Freya, right? Friday, you know what I'm saying? It's all about getting paid, right? We get paid on Friday. Most people get paid on Friday. And we go out and we party and we socialize, you know what I'm saying? That's all Venus energy. But Mars is like aggression, war, ambition, the ability and willingness to drive, you know what I'm saying? Forward, push forward, drive forward, you know what I'm saying? And so when Mars goes into Taurus, let me put this up here real quick so I can better hear it. And so then it doesn't, because it was vibrating so much on my feet and it kind of felt weird just a little bit. But yeah, you know, when Mars goes into Taurus, these are people that can be very slow in their movement and slow in their motion. Taurus, like all the earth signs, are responsible for being very like stationary, you know what I'm saying? They don't really move. But it's okay when it comes to Loki, the other fixed signs in Mars, because fixed air is being fixated with the ideal, right? Having an idealistic vision and then being okay with it, you know what I'm saying? And then fixed water is like having an emotion that you're fixated on, a desire that you're fixated on, and that's good, that's compatible with Mars. And then fixed fire is like having an inspiration or an ambition, you know what I'm saying, that you're not willing to shake away, so that's okay too. But when it comes to Mars and Taurus, this is like being fixated with material, practical energies, you know what I'm saying? So this can be like not being able to see beyond like what you grew into feeling and realizing to be practical, to be comfortable, and to be like, yeah, practical and comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And feeling kind of, because the thing about Mars, the thing about Taurus is it's a sign that deals with habits. It's very habitual. And the body, yeah, like Mars rules the throat. That's very common knowledge, a lot of people know. But Mars also rules like the base of the brain, the parts of the brain that deal with repetitive action and repetitive motion, you know what I'm saying? And this plays out well on one end because this can play out as Tauruses being good workers, you know what I'm saying? They're very good with being comfortable with doing things that are repetitive, you know what I'm saying? They don't mind doing things that are repetitive. But the issue with that is you can get so fixated with material and comfort that you don't strive to look beyond, you know what I'm saying? And when you have Mars in the 10th house, this is an indicator of ambitious energies and needing to learn to cultivate greater ambitions, and also being clear on what your ambitions and what your goals are. And so this can kind of somewhat be an energy where it's like you may want to do great and big things, but because, you know, Taurus is a feminine sign, you may want those great and big things to come to you, right? Taurus is like in the tarot deck, like the Empress, you know what I'm saying, which is a card that symbolizes fertility and things like that. Taurus is also spring. It's like in the middle of spring, you know what I'm saying, where things have already sprouted and things have already grown. So Taurus is like the leisure, the one that enjoys the comfort and the fruits. It doesn't want to work, you know what I'm saying, for it. So when Mars goes into Taurus, the issues here are procrastination, stagnation, and needing to find ways to motivate yourself. Maybe feeling like unmotivated type of energies, or feeling very rigid, and feeling, it's like what I said earlier, you know what I'm saying, because the key phrase for Mars is I have, you know what I'm saying, I mean Taurus is I have, you know what I'm saying. So it can be this energy of feeling like before I take action, I have to have this, and I have to have this set, and I have to have this set, you know what I'm saying. A lot of people don't talk so much about perfection and correlation with Taurus, but you know, Taurus can be like a perfect sign, you know what I'm saying, a perfectionist. I think more so this perfection energy that I'm trying to talk about, it's not so much perfection, but it's more so like stubbornness and stubbornness, you know what I'm saying, like needing things to be a specific way, you know what I'm saying, and not being able to sway from that ideal. But it's like needing the material and the physical world to be a specific way, and it's like not being able to see beyond the surface of what is like governing those things that you are seeing physically. Because, you know, the opposite sign to Taurus is Scorpio. Scorpios dive deep, you know what I'm saying, and they're like boom, I've gone beyond the surface. But Taurus kind of stays superficial, and it stays on the surface, you know what I'm saying. So it may sometimes, a lot of the times, need a budge from an external source, because it's very practical, and it's Mars and Taurus is practical to its own demise, you know what I'm saying. So it may like be like practically making sense in its own head, but like where action is concerned, it's like wait a minute, you actually should take action, because that's how you're gonna get to where you're trying to go, you know what I'm saying. So that's like the Mars and Taurus conundrum, you know what I'm saying. So with you having Mars squaring your moon, right, and this square happening between the 7th and the 10th house, this is an indication of like experiences of the home, you know what I'm saying. Well, not so much, yeah, I can say that. Experiences of the home, but specifically experiences with like the mother, or like just maternal energies, familial energies, because the 7th house is the house of personal relationships. So personal experiences with domestic people, right, because that's the moon. Personal experiences with domestic people, I'm sorry to say it like that, because I know I can say it way better, are a great source for conflict when it comes to one's ambitious energies and one's desire for exaltation of oneself and one's being, you know what I'm saying. So the square is this energy that deals with friction. It kind of shows a restriction here where there needs to be an integration and a learning energy, you know what I'm saying. And I feel like with this energy, beyond just reputation and recognition, we should also talk about just the moon, and like beyond the houses, we should also just talk about these planetary forces. The moon is like emotion, you know what I'm saying, it's subconscious energy. So yeah, you want to look at your 12th house to understand like what things are repressed within your subconscious mind, you know, which is Geminian energies. So with you having Gemini in the 12th house, it's an indication that there are restrictions when it comes to your way of thinking, you know what I'm saying, the way that you think. And this is like very like duh, you know what I'm saying, most restrictions are sourced from our way of thinking. But more so for Geminis than other signs, because you know other signs may have restrictions due to resources, if it's Earth, you know what I'm saying, or due to the way that they see themselves, or their aspirations and their ambitions and their goals, if it's fire, you know what I'm saying, inspiration and motivation and enthusiastic energies, if it's fire, right, or air, or water, you know what I'm saying, feelings being a great source of restriction. So like but when it comes to the 10th house, when it comes to Gemini in the 12th house and your sun being in Gemini in the 12th house, what you really need to assess and analyze, first and foremost, we're dealing with the sun's energy here. So it's important that you reconstruct and you recreate your self-image. And I already talked about that previously, you know what I'm saying? And I explained how if the 12th house is an indication of a mind that may find itself working against itself due to the fact that the 12th house is the house of it's the house of the imagination, but it's also the house of self-undoing or self-sabotage. So a lot of the time this is imagining anxiety, you know what I'm saying, but not imagining anxiety, more so because it's Gemini energy, having excessive thoughts that continuously draw towards negativity, you know what I'm saying. So first and foremost, you would tremendously benefit from learning constructive thinking, which I'll definitely eventually teach you once we get done with this work. But you would also, in conjunction with constructive thinking, right, you would benefit from learning to decide and being very discerning and discriminative about the thoughts you choose, you know what I'm saying, like just as discriminative as you are about the clothes you wear, the food that you eat. Shout out to Abraham Hicks. You know what I'm saying? You can be discriminative towards the thoughts that you choose as well. And this is a practice, you know what I'm saying? Kind of think about it like this. If you're someone who's not really discriminative about the clothes that you wear and you're always just putting on whatever, and then one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna start being a little bit more picky about what I wear. At first, it's not gonna be that easy. You're gonna wear certain things, and even though you're trying, that are gonna look funny or goofy. But as you work on it and work on it and work on it, all of a sudden, you're putting together these combinations of clothing that are immaculate and beautiful. So that's what that Gemini energy, and that's what I mean by being discriminative in regards to the thoughts that you pick and the thoughts that you choose, right? And this is just your sun's energy. Like if I had my sun in the 12th house, I would create thoughts, right, that are very harmonious to me and harmonious for me. And then I would dress those thoughts up with my imaginative energies, with my fantasies, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't use the one without the other, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk more about emotion right later when we get into your Mercury, which is in Cancer, and your Ascendant, which is in Cancer as well. So emotion is going to be a great importance for you as well. And I love that you have both Cancer. You have both Cancer and the Moon. Cancer and Gemini energy. And that kind of leads me to want to talk about the fact that you were born on the summer solstice, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the summer solstice, right around June 29. That's when the summer solstice is. But the thing about the summer solstice is it deals with the Gemini and the Cancer energy, you know what I'm saying? So around this time is when we tend to experience the most light within the day, you know what I'm saying? The days are way longer than the nights. And this has a spiritual significance to it too. It just signifies that around this time and those energies up in the sky, the archetypes of those energies are closest to spirit. And now Gemini's key phrase is thought, you know what I'm saying? So thought. And then Cancer's key phrase is feeling or emotion, you know what I'm saying? So thoughts and emotions are closest to spirit, you know what I'm saying? So man, if I had this placement, because I was born on the 19th, you were born on the 18th, right? June 18th, me, June 19th. So we're very close for sure. And so what I do is I continuously utilize my emotion and my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in a place where like my emotions and my thoughts are my freaking servants. And this is a practice, you know what I'm saying, that I'm getting better and better and better and better and better at every single day. And things are continuously materializing and manifesting for me because I do this, you know what I'm saying? And for you, like I do it through the 10th house, which is a house of like the thoughts that I am programming and integrating into my being deal with recognition, deal with status, you know, deal with the exaltation of my ego. For you, The 12th house is more of a universal house where it's like you can kind of like low-key program whatever the F you want, you know what I'm saying? Because the 12th house is a house of imagination and creativity. But let me go back to your moon and your Mars, right? I just kind of had to disclose that a little bit because the moon Mars also talks on the 12th house pressure that can be there. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, when the people with 12th house energies, they're dealing with karma, they're dealing with you know, struggle, and that's pressure. You know what I'm saying? And Mars moon energy square, especially, it kind of reflects and it indicates that you are a type of person who has gone through some shit where familial energies are concerned. This can be domestic violence energy, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't even have to be physically domestic, you know what I'm saying? It can even be being mentally abused, having a very interesting dynamic with your mom, you know what I'm saying? Where your mom may have been that source of abuse, but simultaneously though, with you having your moon, with you having your sun in the 12th house, the 12th house is a house that kind of deals with the vanishing of things, you know what I'm saying? Things kind of disappearing, if that makes sense, because it's the last house and it's the house of transcendence. But this is a house that deals with imprisonment also, and it can deal with like addictions of all kinds. You know, typically people say drugs, right? But drug addicts, right? But it's just addictions of all kinds. But with you having your sun, right, in a masculine sign, because Gemini is a masculine sign, this is an indication that the 12th house energy played out, especially probably through your father. So this can be an indication that your father may not have been there for you, or even if your father was there for you, he may have been fighting with his own demons and his own struggles to the point that he couldn't, even though he was physically there, he couldn't truly be there for you. So I feel like it's not only the maternal mother energy that's being reflected with your moon being in Aquarius, because Aquarius energy, right, moon in Aquarius, it wouldn't be your reading if the construction people didn't start working, right? Yeah, it's funny because earlier when I was doing your reading, there was the same thing. Like right when I put it on, I was inside though. Right when I put it on, like I started hearing construction work and everything outside. But yeah, you know, it's just a part of your reading. It's the vibe. It's the vibe. It's the vibe. But yeah, you know, so that's like that's the energy. That's the energy of the 12th house. You know what I'm saying? The energy of the 12th house. Hold on, let me think. What else is there to talk about? Right. So moon square Mars. This is like not also knowing how to deal with the more undesirable energies, you know what I'm saying? The more like emotions and feelings. Not completely knowing how to integrate with your anger, with your rage, with your destructive emotions, with the darker forces. And this is very much synchronistic with moon in Aquarius. Because moon and Aquarius are like very well known for repressing their emotions. So this is like, rather than dealing with it, repressing it, you know what I'm saying? Or being more so on the tip where you may be more receptive to that, like people's bullying energies onto you. Or it can even play out as impulsiveness, you know what I'm saying? And this just ties back to what I was saying earlier about not completely knowing how to deal with your emotions like that. And so maybe at least lashing out or whatever. But when it comes to moon and Aquarius people, they don't really like to think of themselves as emotional. But in reality, they are like, there's no escaping emotion. It's like even if you're unemotional, then like your emotions will find ways to creep their heads out. That's very ugly, you know what I'm saying, very destructive, because they don't have a natural channel to express themselves, so they got to create their channels, you know what I'm saying, which is a negative. So yeah, learning to sit with your feelings and your emotions and kind of sitting in that energy of maybe feeling like you've gone through some stuff and maybe feeling like you've been betrayed and you've been stabbed where your heart is and everything like that. You probably even may be someone who has like, typically this is very Aquarian, right? Moon Aquarian energy, who may have like some sort of wall, some sort of barricade built around you. You're a Cancer ascendant, right? So you got that shell to protect your vulnerable insides, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of more amplified with you having that moon and Aquarius energy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so Mars in Aquarius though, this energy, I mean Moon square Aquarius, Moon square Mars is what I'm really trying to say. This energy is all about learning to work out your anger and your rage and learning to channel it more constructively and using it as fuel. Like, okay, so Moon in the 7th house, this is like having gone through experiences with people that may have been narcissistic, because we're dealing with Aquarius energy here. Moon and Aquarius in the 7th house, so maybe people that didn't fully know how to do one-on-one relationships, but they may have been in there for their own selfish needs and desires, you know what I'm saying? So that can be the lens through which you were traumatized, or you went through some things, and now you have like a wall built up. And then it's like the Mars in the 10th house is like that experience kind of stuck with you, and there may be some sort of reputation energy that came as a result, maybe as a result of like your familial, as a result of that relationship, or as a result of just in general your familial energy. So having some sort of negative reputation, that may be a great source of uncomfortability and insecurity that comes from familial experiences, you know what I'm saying? Maternal experiences. Sheesh. Okay, and so with you having your Mars in the 10th house, like you just need to learn how to take all of that discord and dysfunction and find a way to usher it into your 10th house, Mars in the 10th house, to your motivation and your ambition and that Taurus money getting energy, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's like pretty much, I think, what I should say and what I need to say about your Mars Taurus square. And now let's talk about your Chiron Leo in the 7th house, you know what I'm saying? So with you having my bad, not Chiron Leo in the 7th house, what the heck, Chiron is 7 degrees in the 1st house. So you also have Chiron opposing your chart ruler or your moon, you know what I'm saying? So with you having Chiron opposing your moon, this is an energy of like, there is something within you that, okay, so Chiron is like the wounded healer, you know what I'm saying? It represents and it signifies certain attributes and qualities of your being that are wounded, that you yourself are unable to heal, you know what I'm saying? Like the mythological story of Chiron goes, Chiron was in a war or a battle, in a battlefield, you know what I'm saying? It was like an ambush. And so Chiron gets attacked, you know what I'm saying? And he gets shot with a poisonous arrow. And so Chiron was going, he's like the healer, right? And he's in the battlefield going around tending to people's wounds. And then boom, he's healing everybody. But boom, he gets hit and he's unable to heal himself. And the problem is he is immortal, so he's not gonna die. He's gonna live forever. But as he's living forever, he's living with this pain, you know what I'm saying? So that's like the Chiron energy. Sheesh. And Chiron, the constellation, came from Chiron, the centaur in its story, you know what I'm saying? Because they're synchronized. Like we are we're personifying the planets. That's where we everything literally comes from the heavens above. That's why we're like, God, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound like that, but you know, that's why, and it's naiveness, that's why I had to sound naive. That's why we look up into the sky and we're like, God, like, yo, like there's nothing up there, everything is inside, within us, internally, you know what I'm saying? Like, up there is nothing more or less but the material plane. What you really need to do is close your eyes, you know what I'm saying? That's very 12th house energy, because the 12th house deals with dreams, it deals with sleep, it deals with going into the inner world, which is how we transcend, which is how we transform. You know, when you die, you don't open your eyes and like, well, I guess your eyes do stay open or something like that. But what I was trying to say is that when you die, it's typically an internal inward energy, not an outward energy. But there's a lot that goes into that it's a can that I can't open right now, you know what I'm saying, because it's deep. But yeah, okay. So with you having Chiron in your first house in the sign Leo, your Chiron energy is integrated and entangled with your self-personality. Your self-personality? Your self-personality? I mean your self-image. Okay, your self-image. That's what I was trying to say. Because Leo is a sign of the identity and the self-image, you know, the I am, so I will. You know what I'm saying? I am this, so I will do that. Primarily Leo is the I will, the will force, the willpower. But you know, the sun is exalted in Aries, so it's an I am, I will type of energy. So when Leo is in Chiron, there is a wounding of the way that one sees themselves. There is a wounding in one's self-image. You know what I'm saying? And one's how one sees, yeah, one's personality. And yeah, I'll just leave it like that. How one sees themselves and how one treats themselves personally. You know what I'm saying? And like you have your moon as your chart ruler, which your moon is kind of being put under pressure. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense that you have this aspect, or you have this energy with Chiron being in Leo in the first house. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that you learn to resolve and revolve certain traumas and certain energies about your being, about yourself, that came as a result of the separative energies of the familial experiences that you've had, the domestic experiences that you have, like even being like a single mother. You know what I'm saying? Like that can be very traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? And those are the areas where healing may need to be done and may need to be resolved. There are, like I was talking earlier with the moon being in the 7th house, there are certain personal relationships and personal experiences you've had that are domestic and that are very personal and close, like emotionally, and like people getting into your vicinity and seeing your space and seeing your energy. That's like wounding. You know what I'm saying? That's like wounding. So it's important for you to work out which relationships impacted you and influenced you to such a point where it's like you have this negative and toxic self-image. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did your influence with your mother impact your self-image? How did your influence with your father impact your self-image, or the lack of their being? You know what I'm saying? And how did like your influence with your baby daddy? You know what I'm saying? All these things are important for you to look at and resolve and heal, for sure, before you can truly move forward and truly exalt and let your let your light shine. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the Leo energy is about, shining light. You know, that little light of yours, you're gonna let it shine, right? For sure, I hope so. But before we do that, that's what you need to focus on, and that's what you need to resolve. Okay, now let's look at the last aspect before we get into midheaven. Yeah, so yeah, this is the last aspect we'll be discussing, and then the next session we'll get into like your Mercury, you know, which we talked about a little bit. We'll talk about your Neptune, and we'll also talk more about like your, we've talked a lot about your Mars, so we'll talk about your Neptune, your Mercury, and also write other planetary alignments for us to talk about. So I'll have notes prepared for our next session. For sure. So with you having Chiron, let's just listen to this music for a little bit. Let's just enjoy this beautiful. It's really beautiful out here today. I hope that that you can find yourself outside somewhere as well. But it's really nice and beautiful out here. The weather feels really good, all that good stuff. Okay. So another thing of importance for us to talk about is there's a sextile actually that's happening between your moon and your midheaven, right? Yeah, your moon and your midheaven. Yeah, let me just double check, make sure it is a sextile. Yeah, your midheaven, yeah, is at 3 degrees. Your midheaven is at 3 degrees Aries. Perfect. Okay. So the midheaven is the house that deals with reputation, deals with status. It deals with reputation, it deals with status, it deals with one's career, and just what one is known for, like one's reputation, you know what I'm saying? So, like the energies of your moon, they play out as opportunity energies, you know what I'm saying? And the cool thing about the moon is like the soul archetype, you know what I'm saying? It plays out and it signifies the energies of the soul. Because the moon is also the subconscious mind, you know what I'm saying? Like the conscious mind is more so like the ego or like the body or the mind, you know what I'm saying? Mercury. Because it's the neocortex, you know what I'm saying? That's what the conscious mind is. The neocortex, the sun rules the neocortex, you know what I'm saying? And the neocortex deals with how it is that you direct your thoughts. So yeah, very much the sun is your neocortex, the moon or your ego or your mind. The moon is your subconscious mind, aka your soul, and then the ascendant is your body, you know what I'm saying? Your body. So when it comes to the sextile, what is a sextile? A sextile signifies energies where opportunities can be created, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is the 7 of Cups in the tarot. The tarot, you know what I'm saying? The 7 of Cups, it's the card, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's this card with this dude who's looking at all of these cups, right? 7 cups. And each cup has like something for him to offer him. But this dude, he's standing there in stagnation, you know? And on top of that, there's some cups, or which are significators of opportunities, are snakes, you know what I'm saying? And I bring that up to say that just because it's a sextile and it produces opportunistic energies, you should be aware and understand that not all opportunities are good opportunities, but simultaneously, most of the time with a sextile, it can be, and it does play out as good opportunities. And like, this is just an indication of like needing to not see the things you've gone through domestically as a negative, but finding ways to become known for positively known for those things, you know what I'm saying? And finding that and looking and seeing the opportunities of how can I take this pain and the strife that I've gone through and my domestic affairs, my familial energies, and my behind the scenes energies, and how can I project them out into the public in a way that they can be received harmoniously by others, you know what I'm saying? So the moon, sextile the midheaven, it's all about understanding how to transform and transmute that which would be otherwise negative into a positive, you know what I'm saying? So this can even be like you becoming like a healer, or you becoming like some form of like social worker, because the moon, it's green, it's primary, and this is my training and my understanding, you know what I'm saying? I was taught that, and I resonate with this, because the moon's energy is all about growth and vegetation. And what color are plants? Green, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, the moon deals with familial energies, caring, nurturing. And which chakra deals the most with that? The heart chakra, you know what I'm saying? Very simple shit, for me at least. So yeah, the green energy, the heart chakra energy. So work that may deal with social worker, you know what I'm saying? Being a social worker, being an advocate of some kind, you know what I'm saying? Speaking for those without a voice, you know what I'm saying? Very much moon energy, but also Leo, right? Because you have that Chiron in Leo in the first house. I feel like one way that you may be able to learn to resolve your Leo energy is through learning to talk for those who do not have a voice, being some form of advocate for this or that or the fourth, you know what I'm saying? And so with the moon sextiling the moon sextiling the midheaven, this kind of just creates like let's say someone stumbles to like when opportunistic energy is like, because the 10th house is kind of like the house of like the public stage, you know what I'm saying? Or like let's say someone with like great status or something like that stumbles across you and they see your moon energies, which is like your domestic energies, your behind the scenes energies, and this may create opportunities for you, like whether this be like a dude or a man who's like very well established wanting to like maybe take care of, and this is just very simple, generalized, like wanting to take care of you, right? That's like 10th house, which is status, someone of status, or someone from your 10th house coming in and seeing the condition of your moon energy and being like, hey, let me take care of you. And the way that that'll play out, it makes sense that I'm using this relationship energy because the 7th house, which is where the sextile is happening, is like the energy of relationships, personal relationships. So this can be like gaining relationships through your career, through your reputation, gaining relationships. Yeah, hold on, let me get out of my thoughts, because like with certain placements there's really not that much to say, but with me being a Gemini and me being a Virgo, I always think like I gotta say more, but sometimes I don't think there is that much to say. Moon sextile to midheaven. This is also, I feel like, an energy where having an ability to see how the domestic experiences you've gone through, how those experiences are exalting you and making you a better person. Because the 10th house, right, it's the house of technically self-actualization, because it's still the 1 energy, which is the energy of Aries, but it has a 0, and the only thing that the 0 does is it expands, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the Aries energy of ego and the I am, but exalted, right? And when you think of 10th house, you also want to think of Capricorn. Capricorn is the goat who climbs to the top of the mountain, you know what I'm saying? And Capricorn's key phrase is I use. So it's like learning to use domestic energies to exalt and expand one's being and oneself. But I think it really doesn't go further than that. And I definitely want to thank you for investing in this first session. I look forward to doing the second session for you, where we will dive deeper. And I hope that this all resonated for you. And alright, peace. Namaste.